Hello, everyone. This is the Lincoln Memorial. In front of this statue, there is a sign that says, "Crowd, respect, please." Well, this crowdness has been disturbed by a graffiti that was discovered to have spray painted on one of the columns. Let's have a look at the column. We all know that this is the memorial to Abraham Lincoln, the American president who signed the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing slaves in the United States. We're now walking around this memorial building. There are columns on all sides of the building, and then we are walking towards the back part of the building. And I think the vandalized column is still there. Let's have a look. I think it's over there. It's over there. Okay, this is the column which is now covered with paper. I think inside it a vandal, has written some obscene graffiti in spray paint. You can see the color. The paint should be in red paint. This graffiti was discovered on Tuesday. It was not clear when it was painted. I've been here over the past few years. I've been here for several times, but this is the first time I've ever seen a graffiti being scored on one of the columns. The National Park Service said in a statement that it was removing the graffiti from the monument, but up to now, it is still there. It is still being covered by paper. We have no idea when it will be removed. And the U.S. Park Police said that they were investigating the case. In fact, this graffiti was the second time this year that the Lincoln Memorial, one of Washington, D.C.'s major tourist attractions, was defaced. In February, this monument to Lincoln was also vandalized with a marker pen, according to local media report. The discovery of this expletive graffiti that was discovered on Tuesday happened days after violence broke out in Charlottesville, in Central Virginia, over an American Civil War era monument. Okay, on Saturday, a deadly violence erupted after white nationalists converged in Charlottesville in Central Virginia for a Unite the Right rally in protest of plans to remove a statue of Confederate General Robert E. Lee. And rally participants and counter protesters clashed in scattered street fights before a car ran into the rally opponents, killing one woman and injuring 19 others. A 20-year-old Ohio man, James Fields, said to have harbored Nazi sympathies, was charged with murder. Today I found several national park rangers and national park police officers in this building. I think they are over there, right? Let's go inside this memorial building and have a look. On Saturday, Trump denounced the hatred and the violence on many sides, and the comment drew sharp criticism for not explicitly condemning the white nationalists. And 2 days later, Trump delivered a follow-up message expressly referring to the KKK, neo-Nazis and white supremacists and other hate groups as repugnant to everything we hold dear as Americans. And on Tuesday, the President Trump unabashedly insisted on Tuesday that both left and right-wing extremists resorted to violence during the weekend's rally by white nationalists in Virginia. The Reuters report used the word unabashedly. We would like to talk to several tourists here at the memorial, and we would like to know what their views on the violence in Charlottesville, Virginia, and also about the graffiti at this historical building. Okay, my name is Frank Zhao with China Daily USA. Have you ever found that the Lincoln Memorial being vandalized? And what is your take on this expletive spray paint?
I don't know. I don't have a very strong opinion on it. Yeah, I mean, it's a tragedy to have our national monuments vandalized, but beyond that, nothing in particular, really.
Is this the first time you've heard about that?
Yes, it's the first time
It's a good way to make their opinions heard? Or?
No, of course not. Of course not. I mean, there are other ways that you can make your opinions heard. There's no need to go and vandalize, and especially now with the National Park Service's budget, being cut the way that it is, then yeah.
And have you followed the Charlottesville violence?
Yes. Yes.
What do you think about that?
Well, what can you think about that? It's a terrible, horrible thing.
Well, what do you think about the removal? The planned
Confederate
symbols across the country.
Yeah, I think that makes quite a bit of sense. Yeah. I mean, I don't really consider the Confederate symbols to be a great part of American history, important, but not something to hold in homage.
Thank you. May I have your name, please?
Sure, it's Joshua Hiller.
From which part of the country?
From Florida.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day. today is Wednesday, and I think tourism are coming in droves to visit this historical building. And this partly because this is still summer vacation for many people. I think there are more students also coming. Hello, my name is Frank Zhao. I'm a reporter with China Daily USA. May I have your name, please?
Yeah, it's Darren Blackhead.
You are from
The UK.
Okay. Have you ever found that the Lincoln Memorial being vandalized before? And also, what is your take on this kind of expletive spray paint? On one of the columns.
Well, I've never heard of it being vandalised before, but I think vandalising national monuments isn't really a good way of getting your message out there. If you've got opinions, you should probably put them out in a better way than vandalising national heritage.
Okay, so you heard about have you read about the news about the violence that's broke out in Charlottesville in Central Virginia about this kind of protest?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it on the national news. Yeah, it seems like there's been a pretty bad protest out there, and that's really, really bad. And I'm not quite sure why it's erupted out there, but yeah, it doesn't sound very good.
Okay, thank you, and have a good day.
Same to you.
Oh dear, that's not very good.
Okay, this is question one then about the Charlottesville violence about Virginia. You heard about that?
Yes, I have, yes.
Okay, and then I'd like you to have your take on this. Two things. One is graffiti here. I just go back to this building.
Yes.
One of the columns was spray painting,
Yes.
in kind of expletive graffiti.
Oh dear,
Kind of
right.
dirty words.
Okay.
Swear words.
Oh dear.
This is question one. Secondly, about if you are following the bloody, deadly protest in Charlottesville.
Yes.
Okay. Hello. Good morning. My name is Frank Zhao. I'm a reporter with China Daily USA.
Yes.
And is this your first visit here to the Lincoln Memorial?
No, this is my second visit. The first time I was here was 35 years ago. I'm actually from Northern Ireland, from Belfast, Northern Ireland. So I have come back with my family to visit.
Okay. Have you ever found that a memorial of this nature ever been vandalized in the United States or in your country? And what is your take on this kind of expletive spray paint?
Well, my take on it is that it is an offensive thing to do. These are memorials that have lasted the test of time and are normally testament to freedom and liberty and all things that are wholesome and good. So it is very disappointing that someone would spray paint on such an iconic memorial such as this.
You know, on Saturday there was a deadly protest in Charlottesville, in Central Virginia.
That's right, I've heard of it.
Okay.
Yes, I'm familiar with that. Yes.
Okay. What do you think about the removal of the Confederate symbols across the country?
Well, it's interesting because, as I've said, I'm originally from Belfast, so we are a city that has a history of violence, where we have had opposing sides, fight and then reconcile, and sometimes in order to build the future you can't forget the past either. So there is something about making sure that people's individual pasts are respected, but done so in a way that is inclusive of all opinion, really. You know, we spend a lot of time in Northern Ireland peace building, and we can appreciate how deeply held the concerns are from both sides towards the memorial, but I think there is something about giving grace and respect to everybody in terms of that.
Okay, thank you. Have you also followed the U.S. President Donald Trump's responses to this event, to this bloody protest unrest in Virginia?
I caught sight of it on the news this morning as I was having breakfast. I was a bit puzzled by his response. It felt to me that it was maybe not as strong as it could have been in its condemnation of those events. It always takes two sides to make a conflict, but there is something about saying it shouldn't matter where it starts from, it needs to be stopped, and I thought he wasn't strong enough in saying that.
Okay, thank you so much. May I have your name, please?
It's Caroline.
Caroline. Okay, thank you and have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Mom, why are we going all the way down here?
可以照一下那个柱子，多个柱子。
It's a 2-hour tour.
It's a 3-hour tour.
Two. The graffiti, yeah, did they scrape it off? Or like
Hello, good morning. My name is Frank Zhao. I'm a reporter with China Daily USA. You know, is this your first visit to this great memorial?
No, this is actually my second visit to the memorial.
Where are you from?
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, so have you ever heard that this great building ever been vandalized by any graffiti things?
No. This is the first time and a sad time that it's been vandalized.
So what's your response when you first heard about that?
Well, I think it's ridiculous. I think people have forgotten the love. That's really the foundation of this nation, and it's just ridiculous. I think we need to come together and just know what's the right purpose for one nation, and that's the United States of America. And it's not to tear down these statues such as the Lincoln Memorial.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, you live far away from the Charlottesville in Central Virginia. Well, a deadly protest, unrest broke out on Saturday.
Yeah, I live in Memphis, Tennessee, so I live at the place in which Martin Luther King was murdered. So I have a deep understanding of the racial divide between our country. I don't live close to Charlottesville, but I think it's a total shame what happened. Yeah, there's a right to do freedom, but there's a right to do things in a respectful manner as well.
It's good to tear down the Confederate buildings, symbols, monuments across the country. What do you think about that?
Well, I think that it's good because it reminds us of our history of slavery. You know, I'm a product of that, and I went to the African American Museum recently, and I saw some things that I recognized. And so I think it's time for us to move into a different direction. We're going to a new millennium, so we've got to change our thought process.
Okay, thank you. And the last
Okay.
question: have you also followed the U.S. President Donald Trump's responses to the deadly violence in Virginia?
Yes, I have followed it. I think it's shameful that he took him 2 days to respond to it because he is our leader of our country and he represents all Americans, not just one set in America.
Okay, thank you, and have a good day.
All right.
This is the end of our today's live broadcast in the link at the Lincoln Memorial. Thank you for following us. My name is Frank Zhao, and I'm working here with my colleague Yuan. Thank you again.